All right, all right. Hello, friends. My name is Amie Ward, and I am thrilled to be your host and welcome you to Portland Cocktail Week's Masterful Management Education Series, sponsored by Kettle One and Another Round, Another Rally. We're kicking off Masterful Management 2022 by thinking through how beverage managers, both new and seasoned, lead during a time of change, uncertainty, and shifting consumer values and expectations. We'll be exploring how time-honored leadership principles and hospitality values have adapted during the time of COVID, the Great Resignation, and a digital-first consumer. Because you are watching us on Portland Cocktail Week's Facebook page, there are 4 things that we would love our fans to do with this content today. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and please, if you have questions, comment below and ask any of the questions that you might come up with. We have 30 minutes to get so much done, but we're going to try our best. Our educator today is the dynamic and incredibly talented Peter Clayton, founder of Bartenders Academy, software engineer and industry veteran who has helped countless bar professionals polish their bartending and bar management skills. Peter, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Amy. This is I feel very honored to be in front of these awesome bartenders and bar managers today.
Yeah. So, what are we talking about today? What magical knowledge are you bestowing upon us?
So I like the way you put that. What knowledge am I bestowing? Actually, everyone is going to be bestowing knowledge on each other. We are covering the fundamentals and foundations of bar management, and so that's what we're going to be jumping into today.
Wonderful. All right, let's kick it off. Where do we go from
All
here?
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, welcome everybody. I am, like I said before, I'm very honored to be sharing this time with you. We have a little bit of time. We have 28 minutes to cover a lot of content. And so just our focus today is really leveraging the power of our network, which is you and I. Some of us here have many years of bartending experience. Many of us have many years of bar management experience, and some of us don't. Some of us are brand new bartenders, some of us are brand new bar managers. And for us, what's really important is that we bring our industry forward. The goal of what we want to do is really start honing in on bar management as a professional skill set that can be learned, that can be taught, and that can really be used to help elevate our industry. And the more we do that together, the better our patrons will be, the better the businesses will be, but the better our experience as bar professionals will be as well too. So, that's what we're going to be covering today. Let's go ahead and hop on over to objectives and takeaway. But before I do, I'm using a platform called Mural. And so this platform is going to allow all of us to really come together and collaborate on the learnings that we're going to go over. Once you're in, if you click in this dark gray area, a little sticky will pop up and you can start typing. Hello, bar masters. Boom, and you can do that. If you had a chance to watch the intro video to Mural, great. If not, don't worry, I'm going to be talking you along. But this is how we're going to collaborate asynchronously and decentralized all over from where everybody's checking in. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this today. Let's go over to objectives and takeaways. So the biggest thing I want everybody to really center on and focus on today is thinking about approaching bar management by using a framework. What is your mental model? What are your core principles? What are your core values? What are the rules of engagement as a bar manager? Most of us uh, came into bar management from a perspective of I just learned from a friend, or I just learned from my boss, or just like I learned bartending, I was thrown behind the bar. Just like I learned bar management, I was thrown in front of a team of people. Some of us may have been great bartenders and got promoted to bar management, but it's a very different skill set. And so, what we want to do is have a framework. And there are really several takeaways that I want us to focus on today. So, the first one is, as I said before, we are professionals, right? So it means that we have a certain set of requirements for the job, and there's a certain level of competence that comes with it that cover everything from financial, legal, and ethical responsibilities as we're managing our assets with care, right? And so the more we start to think of, I'm not just a bar manager because it's my title, but I'm a bar manager because it's my profession, that will help us. And folks, we all know there are levels to this. There's head bartender, There's bar manager, there's floor manager, there's assistant GM, there's general manager, there's owner of one restaurant, there's general managers of many restaurants. So as we start to really respect the different lanes in which this role, this title lives in, I think we can be more specific about what's required of us and how we can get reach success. So that's the first thing I want you to keep in mind. The next thing I want us to keep in mind and really center on is this is a people job, right? It's not the top-down model of I am the king, I am the queen, all my peon bartenders. Listen to me. This is how I can help my bartenders do their best work. How can I remove blockers for them so they can run fast? How can I make sure that when my bartenders are on the floor, their focus is on engaging on the guests, on delivering high quality hospitality, high quality beverages, and making sure we're working together as a team. So it's really we really want to center on, okay, what is my relationship? How can I be a servant leader and help my people really run forward? Let's go to the next takeaway. And we're going to get back to this as well too. We're just giving a nice little overview of some of the things that we want to use as part of our bar management framework. The next thing is leaders set the goals and directions. It's not about micromanaging, right? It's about teaching and inspiring our bartenders and our colleagues to get to the goal, right? And so, how can we get to our goal if they're not defined? How can we follow a direction if it's not defined? Many of the bars that we work in, it's like, all right, let's have a great time, let's serve these drinks, let's get a high ring, let's do good tonight. But all of the bar managers, all of the bars that I've worked with, all of the successful bartenders and bar managers and professionals that I've worked with who have been on a team, that team has had a code of conduct. They have had a guiding star, a north star. Why are we doing this? Why are we serving drinks? Why is this important to our guests? And what you find is you become a more successful manager when you're not telling people what to do, but your teammates are holding one another accountable and you accountable because it's not about a person, it's about the ideals that everybody's tracking towards. And that's a really powerful form of leadership. Let's go on to the next takeaway. And like I said, we'll be diving into this. And if anyone's feeling froggy, you're kind of getting itchy, this is starting to make sense to you. Feel free to just like double click and write some thoughts, right? Have some fun. This is meant to be a platform where we can express ourselves. Try and keep it in the area that we're focused on. But if you have something inspiring that you want to share, go ahead and just double click and just start typing, so we can see what y'all are thinking. So there you go. So for the next takeaway that we want to focus on is takeaway number 4. Bar management is a skill that can be learned. So just like bar management and being a bar manager is a profession, being a bar manager is also a skill, right? And so that's really, really important to note that it is something that can be learned. Many of us have worked for great bar managers, and many of us have worked for some not so great bar managers. But guess what? We're not all born leaders. We don't all have a knack. I've trained several, probably 5 to 6,000 plus bartenders myself over my career, and I've always said sometimes we have bartenders that come in that are already bartenders, and out of 10 things they know 9. It's that one thing out of 10 that helps level their game up. Or they may be brand new and may know 0 or 1 out of 10. And so, as they add on different skill sets, they get better and better. But as you are growing in your bar management journey, what I want to encourage you to do is not try and take on everything at once. It's better if you grow consistently over time than try to focus with intensity and take on everything at one time, right? Um, it serves people better if we are growing steadily and consistently day in and day out in our skill sets and in our development as opposed to trying to be the perfect the perfect manager, right? And then the last takeaway I want to center on is there is a management and leadership shortage. There's no standards for leadership. There's no guiding principles for leadership when it comes to being a bar manager. There's no sense of what does it mean to be a bar manager. Everyone has different definitions of bar management. Um, and so we need you. We literally need you, whether it's something that you're doing full time or part time. What we need from you is to take this on as something that's needed, and it's something that's powerful for your guests at the end of the day. Because if everybody's running on the same page, swimming in the same direction, ultimately our guests are going to do better, and you'll be more successful as well too. And so, I really want you to start thinking about bar management as something that you should be proud of, and something that's also a transferable skill set. Some of you may have heard, which we'll get into the who am I shortly, but you can transfer management both within and without the alcohol leadership because at the end of the day, it's about people. So yeah, so that's good. So let's go on. So who is this for? This is for you. Well, who are you? I want to get froggy a little bit and just tell me a little bit about what you all do. What's your role at your current bar, or what was your previous role? Why don't y'all double click right here around this who is for? Just start double clicking and put in what your different titles or roles have been. Let's see. Can we get some folks double clicking here, or double tapping on the screen? We really want to start. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah, someone just did a double tap there and start typing in. Let's see. Yeah, start double clicking on the screen. All right. Yeah, there we go. Jared started typing like, "What's your roles? What have you done?" I want to see. Show me some good stuff. All right. Come on, folks. Let's yeah, there we go. General manager. Okay, great. Someone's been a bartender. Fantastic. Bar manager. Fantastic. There you go. General manager. Okay, nice. Head bartender. Nice. Lovely. Bartender, bar manager. Those are some of the roles that we've had. All right, fantastic. Hey, Peter Chow, I appreciate you. I appreciate that name, that name, brother. We have Colin in here. Okay, great. We have Jade. We have visiting cassette tape. All right, bartender, bar manager, social media manager, event. How many of you had every role, right? You were the bartender, the bar manager, the social media person, the advertiser, everybody. Bouncer at the door, head cashier, phone person. Head bartender, new bar, fantastic. Bar manager, oh yeah, that janitor. I think we can all attest to that, which is great. Kristen, hey Kristen, hey visiting trumpet. All right, cool. So we've had a few different roles in here. In the interest of time, I'm gonna keep it moving. All right, so this is for you, obviously. um, and we all come from different parts of the world. And so, because we all come from different parts of the world, I want you to take this space to double click in here and tell us what part of the country you are from. Put your city in here. So let me see. Let's see. Summon. I'm going to summon everybody, all 14 of us. So I'm going to summon us. So all 14 of us, we're right here. Let's go ahead and type in, and then can we, Amy and Dave, can we see, make sure everybody has a link? I think we only have 14 folks in here, but it's a good, solid 14 folks. We have, see, Kristen's at it again. Hey, Ash, Jared, Jade. All right, we have Durham, North Carolina. Woohoo! I went to school in North Carolina. Much love. NYC, my hometown. That's where I grew up. Columbus, Ohio. Nice. Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. What are you talking about? I love it. Houston, Texas. Hey, good stuff. Seattle, Washington, San Diego, Nolens, Fresno, California. We got some West Coast, East Coast, Midwest. Hey, Poe, who's a visitor. Love that energy. I love you back. Visiting headphones, Colin. All right, Seattle. We talked about that. Boston, Massachusetts. Sioux Falls, South Dakota is in the building. I love it. Great, great, great. Fantastic. So, as you can see, we are from all over the country and international as well too. Hey, Emilio, what's going on, brother? Visiting sex. Hey, Claire. How you doing, Claire? All right, fantastic. So we're seeing that we are coming from all over. We got visiting xylophone. All right, perfect. So the big takeaway that we're going to have today, and I want y'all active, right? I want y'all contributing, writing on these post-it notes, because again, we're going to leverage the crowd network here to really have some really fantastic takeaways. All right, cool. Yeah, fantastic. So you're a facilitator. Who am I? My name is Peter. Nice to meet you. So just a little background on me really quickly. So I mentioned before that I have trained probably between 5 and 6,000 bartenders over the past 12 years because I have run a training center in Connecticut that have trained bartenders from all over that have come to Connecticut. And so that's really my background. My role, and I always tell people this up front, my role is not as a bar manager. That's not the value that I'm bringing to you today. My role has been as a facilitator for over the past decade. I have bartended. I used to bartend in Washington D.C. That's where I cut my teeth. I started out at a huge, like, break your teeth, 1,500 person a night nightclub in DC. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun, met a lot of people, and I saw some really great examples of management in that particular venue. It wasn't a regular nightclub. It was pretty sweet. But I quickly transitioned into working with other industry leaders from across the USBG, from across Portland, Cocktail Week, and really began networking. And what I saw was that there was a lack of training in our industry, which is why I decided to open up a training center. And what I also noticed is that we as bartenders, we're pretty proud. We like to say we know how to do it. I know the best way to make, an old fashioned, or this is how you make, this kind of martini or what have you. And I quickly learned is that when we came together at events like Portland Cocktail Week and we were able to exchange knowledge and exchange learnings, that's when we really got to see the variety of styles and approaches to giving service-based, hospitality-based cocktails and beverages. And so I leveraged that in my training program. So I've worked with, some of the top bartenders from across the country to really put together some really great curriculums from taking those who are greenest among us to really have them go on to run bars of their own, open up venues of their own, become active members in things like Portland Cocktail Week, like organizations like the USBG, and people who, frankly, that a lot of my students have gone on to be actual better bartenders than myself, because my goal was really to provide them access to the leaders in the industry. So a lot of the content that we're talking about today is not things that Peter the Great knows, but it's things that have been distilled from over a decade of working with industry leaders in a way that we can now work on, grow on, and expand upon, which is really what we want to do. And really, what's really great about Portland Cocktail Week and the team over at Lush Life is their ability to pull together the wisdom of a crowd so we can give great knowledge. And so that's really where my expertise lies in. And so that's what we're going to do again today. We're going to find out what's working for you, especially in this changing time and changing world. But enough about me. The clock is ticking. What I want to do is we need to cover a few things, right? And so we need to cover what is the actual framework that we should be using as bar managers to build on. And I really want to get to the discussion piece. So I'm gonna fly through this part pretty quickly so we can get back into the active session. All right. So what is a great starting place for your bar management framework? And it's more important that you have a framework as opposed to what the framework is, like we're talking about. As long as everybody can be on the same page and swim in the same direction, that's really what's most important. And so when it comes to working behind the bar, it should really be based on a set of core values and principles. Now, if you work in a bar like that, that's great. Feel free to, start posting some stickies down here and tell us about what are your core values where you work. What's been stated or written down, or not only in the operational management, guidebook, if you have one, which you should, but what is leadership? What is ownership? What are they saying at your bar or your series of bars about what's important and what are your core values and principles? And the reason why this is important, it infuses everything else. If the bar back, if the bartender, if the server, if the waiter, if the general manager, if they are all on the same page about why you are running this particular restaurant, why you're running this particular bar, the guests can feel that. And over time, the guests may even embody that and really say, okay, this is who we are as, Jane's Bar and Grill, or, Bo's Fine Eatery and Cocktails, or, the Thirsty Turtle, whatever the name of your bar is. It's a community of people who are sharing a common vision and goal. One particular bar, it may be about supporting the local fire department and the community around that. For another bar, it may be, Soho in New York and catering to that community because of a love of arts, and that's the theme there. But whatever it is, people need to be on the same page. Most of the common core values and principles across every bar that I've seen tend to share some in common with regards to hospitality, respect, not only putting the guest or customer first, but putting the team as a central part of what the mission is about and who they are. Servant leadership, and again, I'm going to kind of scream through these because we really want to get to the discussion piece and we have limited time. Servant leadership. And oh, I see some people adding communication and transparency. Yes, that should be a guiding post, right? Empowering the team, absolutely. These all sound like fluffy ideals until it's 1 a.m. in the morning and you've run out of like your most popular, ingredient for a cocktail that you have, and the ice machine is down and things are going haywire. And because you've empowered your team to work in those situations and not be just a bunch of independent folks, but really work together, that's where the fluffiness like meets the road. That's when it's like, okay, we really need to band together and knock this out. I see a lot of things start um, a lot of knowledge being shared about teamwork. So servant leadership is, again, like we were talking about before. You're not the boss, right? You're there is to encourage your bartenders and really help them do their best work. And sometimes for the new bartenders, it means teaching them, right? And sometimes for your bartenders who have a lot of experience, it means listening to them when they say, "I need these resources," right? Um, and maybe you're not the owner, you're the manager, and then there's a bartender. You're playing that go between, and maybe ownership isn't giving you what you need, but your bartenders need things. Well, servant leadership is, well, what can you do in that kind of position to excel? Um, Ethical management. This is really about things like nepotism, about responsible alcohol service, about safety, about care and not giving away drinks that's not yours. It really belongs to the business, it belongs to the restaurant, all those aspects. And we'll talk about that more in the upcoming session. Um, but yeah, all of these things, core values and principles, servant leadership, and ethical management, these all support people management, operational management, and safety management. So this is what we are going to do, my awesome teammates here. Let's talk about this. Is your time to shine. What is ethical management? I want y'all to start. I want y'all to start typing and start making stickies. Let's get to it. All right. What do we think ethical management is? Let's start sharing some. Let's start sharing some of the goodness. All right. I see Ash is getting to work on this. Claire is looking around. Okay. We got visiting headphones. Let's talk about this. Providing opportunity for all team members. That's right, not just some team members, but all team members, right? Everybody needs to have a sense that um, they are here together, because if your team members don't feel like they're actually part of the team, they'll come, they'll get their paycheck and their tips and go home. But all of you are here because you're not trying to run that kind of place. Building up staff, never tearing them down. Oh, that's a fun one. How about berating your staff in front of the rest of the team? Does that sound like a good idea to you? I don't think so. Respect between every position. Listen, my barbacks that I had when I was bartending, a lot of them, English wasn't their first language. And people have feelings about people who come to this country, and for whatever reason, wherever political spectrum you're in, we won't go down that rabbit hole. But a lot of bartenders did not treat them as freaking people. I didn't care. Like, they were helping me out. I'd learn a little bit of their language, ask how they're doing, and I did that because I genuinely cared about them because they were barbacks. But I treated them the same way as I treated the owner. Greet them, hug them, hello, hi, how you doing? Find out what's going on, because that stuff is important. And guess who always had their ice bucket filled? Guess whose bar was like spotless in addition to me cleaning it, because we had that respect. And many years later, when I went back, I would ask about their family, to ask about how I'm doing. So that's important. Realizing that your staff's lives outside of work. So at my other job, day job, I remember the CEO was like, "We're not your fucking family." That's what he said. And everybody was like, "Oh, oh my gosh." He was like, "No, we're a team here. We love each other. A lot of us are friends and we respect each other. But you have families and lives outside of work, and that's okay." Right? And everybody's like, "Well, yeah, that's right. We come here to do work and we love each other, and it may feel like a second family, but many of us have lives outside of work, and that's okay. And some of us, where we work is our life, and that's also okay too." So I like that, realizing that people have lives outside of work. And if someone scheduled a vacation, you don't put them on the schedule. But I think everybody here would get that. Being honest with your team on policy and how to properly enforce them equally. So what I really like about this, who wrote this? Um, but whoever wrote this, I really like that when it comes to ethical management, because you can't enforce your standards based on how you feel. Right? That's a quick way to lose people, and I'm sure some of the bar managers who've been here for a while, they can attest to that as well too. Picking up any role during service when it hits the fan. What's the it you're talking about? Yes, when it hits the fan. It's absolutely right. Um, we talked about servant leadership before. If you need to go and be a waiter as a bar manager because it will help you actually help your bartenders move faster, well then guess what? You wanted to you thought you were going home early tonight. No, not happening. Like you're there serving your team. It's called servant leadership for a reason. Giving the same quality service to everyone. Absolutely. Creating standards and holding everyone to the same standard. Absolutely. Provide all right. Building up staff, never tearing them down. Great. So these are all great inputs for what ethical management is. And that really is about understanding that you have something called you have a liability. You are entrusted. You have a fiduciary responsibility. There we go. To protect the assets and the people of that business, and so treating it as if it was your own, because ultimately, the more successful the venue is, the more successful you will be. Being transparent about expectations and oh, can I get an amen from the choir? Absolutely. How is your organization supposed to grow if people don't have a sense of where they're going? And that's very important. And what I would really love us to really think about here as well too, and we got to move on to the next section. But the last thing I want to say about making sure that people have a roadmap in certain bar venues where the owner is the owner, the general manager is the general manager, and the bar manager is the bar manager, the bartender is the bartender. How do you provide a development roadmap for that person? First of all, are we asking ourselves that question? Or is it just, I'm just, everybody does their job and it goes home? No, you can provide so much value as a bar manager, even if the highest position someone will have is that a bartender at your small venue, right? Just because of the dynamics of how things are set up, you can provide an amazing growth experience for them. And it comes in the form of education. Obviously, I'm a little biased. I've run a training center for 12 years, but education is the best way to provide growth for your bartenders. But if there are career opportunities or opportunities for them to help you in management, and that's a realistic thing at maybe a larger venue or even a smaller venue, you can do that. But really take time to think about that. All right, running up against the clock, but it's okay. We're gonna do this. How y'all doing so far? Can y'all write on a sticky how y'all doing? How you feeling right now? Just put on a sticky. Say I'm feeling awesome or what have you. Right. Let's go ahead and put that in. But we're going to talk about people management now. We've been talking about it a little bit. Hey Amelia, I'll connect with you on LinkedIn. I appreciate the follow. Uh, when it comes to people management, we're kind of talking about that with ethical management, and we definitely started talking about that with career development. But what is people management? Thumbs up back to you. All right. All right. Confused about stickies. Oh, okay. Well, you're doing it.
We're
Who's
doing
writing
it
it? You're doing the
perfectly
sticky.
fine.
I'm loving it. You're making it happen. Do exactly what you did. Whoever wrote confused about stickies, you're nailing it. Yeah, just double click and boom, you got it.
Virtual post-its are the wave of the future.
There you go. I love it. Feeling inspired. Bam. All right. Feeling a little bit more you should feel confident because at the end of the day, we are all learning this together. So I'm an engineer by trade during the day, right? Like there are very clear outlines on what you need to do to be an engineer. Attorneys, doctor, if you are an accountant, if you are a retail manager at a store, if you work for a corporate chain of restaurants, right? There are very clear patterns and rules for what it means to be a successful manager. That is not in our bar world. So if you're feeling a little bit more confident, just know that we are all in this boat together. And I imagine that there's some people in this group who are brand new bar managers, and I imagine that there's some people who've been managing for 20 years that are in this group or 15 years or what have you, right? So I love that. Wishing my staff. I'm gonna read while you're typing. I'm not gonna do that to you. Feeling boomer. Bam. All right. What do we have here? Thinking about food but loving this. Yeah, get some lunch. You can eat while we're here. All right. Brand new here. Hey Ash, good to see you. Boom. Great. Boom. So people management. Just before because we got to hop on. I guess I'm running up against the clock here, but with people management, ultimately everybody works a little bit differently. Everybody's motivated by something a little a little different. Wishing my staff would let me focus. That's an interesting one. Can you write a sticky to talk a little bit more about that? Um, that that is a great, so we are going to have a follow-up session. That's a great question to ask in our next session. But, you know, with that question, what is it that you need to focus on, and what are the roadblocks that are coming into your way, right? Much love to my team, but they are asking me work questions when I want to focus on this. Oh, like focus like right now. Got it. You're at work. Okay, I thought you meant in general. Got it. Much see, listen, look how dedicated these group of folks are. They're like learning while they're at work. All right, cool. So we're gonna go on to the next one. It's going. Bam. Operational management. Um, how am I doing on time there?
So we should try to wrap up within the next 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. So we got this. We
Yeah.
got team. We got this, right? So, operational management and safety management are the next two things that we have to talk about, and we're going to talk about them more in more depth in our next class as well too. So we can lightly touch on these, but just put some things out here as what do you think operational management is here, right?
Loaded questions.
That's right. That's right. And after we do this, all right, let's put a little timer on. Can we get a timer on here? Boom. You have 2 minutes, boom, to do the start timer. So the timer's going. Let's go ahead and add what you think operational management is about. Because I'm just told we have 10 minutes, so we're overachievers. So we're gonna get this fixing things. Yes, better fix those things. Proper inventory systems. Yes, absolutely. Long and short operations of business. All right, cool. Give me some details on that. All right, bam. Visiting cassette tape. I appreciate you. Miguel, what's up, brother? Clear schedules done with advanced notice. Yes, part of operational management. Having buttons in on the yes. Oh my gosh. So I just want to touch on that for a moment. You can increase your sales, your speed, and your efficiency if you have a freaking button on the POS, right? But you know what this actually touches upon? This touches on the fact that I think most of us have a lot of things we'd love to do at work, but we're so overwhelmed by everything we're constantly doing that it's something that we should do, something that we should do. I think a huge takeaway from the because that comment is leading me into some other places and what I've seen with really successful teams. You have to make time for management. You're making time today by taking these classes. You have to make time to actually set aside and say, okay, what am I doing for operational management? What am I doing for people management? What are our core values? You literally need to take time out and do this because I've seen so, and I've been there myself. I've in various leadership roles or in a bar instance where there's a lot of things you want to do, but just the time never seems to come. It won't come unless you put it on your calendar. Many of us have iPhones or Androids. Put it on your calendar and set aside time to say, listen, 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week, I'm going to dedicate to improving my operations, and I'm going to set another time from that to actually do it. So set time to plan, set time to do. Time's up. Y'all heard that? All right. Recipes clearly accessible. Woohoo! Working the budget with other management. Clear labels. Yes, yes, yes. Making sure staff has the tool to do their jobs. Okay, so someone wrote the main takeaway from this. Who wrote this one? Standard operating procedures. These are all great answers, but this is really the one we want to focus on. If you could just put your name there. Who said, I want to give you a shout out. Who did standard operating procedures? Because that is really what's going to help your team win. And that's really about taking time out to set down and writing out what, and those are called SOPs for some of you who don't know. But SOPs are the way that you write down, and you can build them with your team, you can build them with senior management, but these are the things that are going to help people understand this is how we operate. And there's several components to that. We're short on time, so we're going to skip over to the next thing. But when it comes to SOPs, it's about taking the time to plan it, getting buy-in, and actually implementing it. So that's one level. Taking the time to plan it, getting buy-in, and then actually implementing it. Taking the time and sitting down and writing out. Getting buy-in is talking to senior management, talking to your colleagues about it, and implementing it means actually posting it somewhere or having a shared Google Drive document, right? So that's level one. Level two is having people live it. Having that you have to constantly be repeating this, but you know when your staff is telling you either where you messed up or checking each other on the SOPs, that's when you know. And this does not happen over a few weeks. This takes several months, and in some cases years to keep building on that. But SOPs is really the way to go. Best thing, Google SOPs or Google Standard Operating Procedures, and really start off simple. Right, start off at some high level things about whether it be shifts, whether it be recipes, where the recipes are located. There's a lot we can dive into in the next session. We'll do that. So great work on all of these stickies. I think fixing things, Colin. Oh, Colin. All right, good job, Colin. Appreciate you, man. Nicely done, Colin. Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and plus one that. Where are my icons? I'm gonna go ahead and do a number one here because yeah, that gets a plus one. There you go. Bam. You didn't know we had stickies, did you? Bam. All right, cool. So now we're gonna go to operational. Oh, we did. So safety management. So as we were running up against the clock here, what I want to say is, with safety management, just start putting on some stickies. Let's go. We got 1 minute. I'm gonna give us a timer. 1 minute. Boom. We can do this. It's a
Yep.
busy night. We're in the weeds. We're
Bring on
getting
the
this done.
safety.
Absolutely. Bring on the safety. What do we got for safety here?
So many things. Dating and labeling things.
Oh, yes. What
And if
color tape? Go ahead, Amy.
I was going to say, and if you're me or you work for me, it's one step further that you cut your tape when you're doing it, and don't just rip it because I like a clean edge on my dated and labeled things. Thank you.
What color tape do you use?
Blue, blue.
Ah, there we go.
Absolutely. Yeah. Education, personal space, controlling alcohol, functional plumbing. I had that experience this weekend. I had a toilet leak raining down on my head in the bar that I'm consulting with right now. So that was
Oh,
very fun.
oh boy.
Functional plumbing.
The raining down part got me.
Yeah. It was, showers are amazing.
So this is one I like. Control guest alcohol consumption. There I mean, tip certification, anyone? Serve safe, anybody? Absolutely. Some places are really lax with this. Some people are really on top of this. Absolutely. And so the last thing we want to talk about, these were all great ads. These were all fantastic. Make sure staff is respectful of each other's. So safety and ethical management. Oh, we have people already filling out the ethical. See, I love y'all. Or did we do this initially? No, I think we did this. Getting
Yeah,
the hang of this.
we started with ethical and then boundaries.
Okay, cool. So the last thing I want to end on, I'm just going to end on two things now because and one, I want to give a big thank you to all of you because you did such a great job and are doing such a great job. I'm just going to steal a few more minutes and talk about one other topic, which is how do we manage in the COVID age, right? In the digital first age, which is something that you'd mentioned earlier on. And so if we think about that, I just want to take some time here before we bid ourselves adieu to just really talk about how has your work environment changed um, since COVID and coming more from a digital aspect. What have you noticed are some things that have changed? So you can just put some stickies around here about how things have changed, and we'll put 1 minute on the clock for that, and then we'll do our wrap up.
Everything is everything an answer?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And think about it in terms of you managing your staff, whether it be schedules or people taking more time off or hiring, hiring. How have things changed? Political discussion. Yep. Oh, way more. Working with
Mhm.
product shortages, writing food costs, mental health awareness. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. What do we have?
Yeah, the mental health awareness is definitely a huge thing as well. Real recognizing more so that people do have lives outside of here, and that we need to do more for our people in order to make this industry kind of grow and prosper. Lots and lots of that.
You have a family, you're not feeling well, like you have another commitment that you planned out many hours or weeks before something came up last minute. Yes, our bartenders are people. They have lives. They have things that come up. Less hours to work due to employee shortages. Businesses close early. Unexpected sick time. Y'all are doing a fantastic job. So thank you to everybody. I really appreciate you being here. If you could just finish off with this, any takeaways you got from today, we can put it in this section. But this is going to stay up here, so you can come back to this link. And I'd encourage you to bring your team and visit this link together and talk about some of the things that we talked about today. But if we could just have some takeaways here, did the session work for you? What could have been better? You can just put that in maybe in this area over here. But these were some great things y'all placed. So just real quick, I'm going to give us one more minute and then we'll finish up. How does that sound?
That sounds great. While you're waiting for that to finish up, do you want to talk about where people can contact you afterwards if they weren't able to catch this session live and have some follow-up questions? How can they get a hold of Mr. Peter Clayton?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, best way is via email. So, Peter at bartenders with an S academy.com. That's the best way to reach me. I have an online training course. If you have any new bartenders that are looking to learn, just hit me up, and I can give them some really great discounts on that as well too. But yeah, email and LinkedIn. Those are the two. Oh, speaking about bar managers, I'm looking at your LinkedIn game. Some of you are on point, but the rest of y'all need to get your LinkedIn game up, okay? You are a professional, and professionals are on LinkedIn. Obviously, Facebook and Instagram are popular places, but as you're looking for opportunities and expanding your opportunities for consulting, for different engagements, for promotions looking up, LinkedIn is really where you want to be. So your first step, if you're not on LinkedIn already, is you can find me on LinkedIn, Peter Lloyd Clayton, just like this. I think they have the link up there. But no, thank you back. And this was great. I love you all. Keep kicking butt. Come back and check this out, and I'll pass it back over. But it's been a pleasure and honor to work with all of y'all today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter. It was so great to see this unfold. I love this kind of digital platform right here. I think it's a great way for us to move towards, especially for collaborating with our team, which is what we should be doing. But thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Portland Cocktail Week, for bringing us masterful management. Thank you, Kettle One. Another round, another rally.
Thank you, Kettle One. I appreciate you.
Yeah, we can't do this without you. It's amazing that we have these companies that are so invested in educating the people that are selling their spirits. It's kind of magical. If you enjoyed this class, please smash that like or love button and show some love in the comments. If you want to see more masterful management classes like this one, follow Portland Cocktail Week on Facebook, facebook.com/PDXCW, or our YouTube channel at Portland Cocktail Week. We're also on PDXCW for Instagram, so you can find out what's coming up next there. Please join us next week, same bat time, same bat channel, 2 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be talking to Phoebe Esmond, who will be presenting to us Gardening at Night, Propagating and Maintaining Creativity in Your Beverage Program. Thank you again, Peter. Thank you all for joining us today. We're so grateful that you were able to be so interactive and be a part of this. Everybody have a wonderful day.